Earlier today, I was walking down a sidewalk when I saw a battery in a puddle of rainwater, and it just reminded me of some science misconceptions I used to have. Because one of my misconceptions when I was first learning about chemistry and electrolysis was that if you put a battery into water, it explodes, because I knew it would make hydrogen gas, and I thought the hydrogen would instantly explode once it bubbled out of the water. And I used to have a big fear of batteries being near water, because I remember doing experiments involving electrolysis, and I just envisioned huge plumes of hydrogen and oxygen coming off the battery if that were to happen. Electrolysis really scared the crap out of me, because I learned you could make chlorine gas with electrolysis. So I had a big fear if you got salt of any sort, whether it be from your sweat or seawater, and you got a battery nearby, it could potentially give off chlorine gas. And it scared the crap out of me because I knew it was used during the war. The World War II, Germany used chlorine gas. And also fluorine. I knew that water was fluoridated, and I thought if you had a battery near a fluoride solution, or toothpaste even, I thought if you put toothpaste in between the terminals of a battery, it could make fluorine gas, and it scared the crap out of me. I had some misconceptions about what red food coloring was made of. I think I was in 6th grade, and we were doing a science project involving some food colorings, and to make it easier to see. So I think we had layered solutions, and we were using food coloring. And I thought the red food coloring was made from animal blood. And I thought if you had a cut somewhere and you got red food coloring on you, you could get AIDS. Maybe it had chimpanzee blood in it. It scared the crap out of me. Which is probably a good thing, because food coloring isn't that good for you anyway. It's probably not going to give you AIDS, but it has other problems. So that's what I thought it was. And then when I was in 8th grade and I learned about chemistry, and I started looking at pictures of different elements, and I thought red food coloring was bromine. They kind of look very similar to one another, especially if you put the food coloring into a glass container of some sort, and it kind of stains the top of the solution, and it just looks like it's fuming, and it just looks like bromine. And around that same time, in a lot of countries or states, they started banning the use of mercury in thermometers. And we were using a thermometer that had a red liquid in it. I thought for sure that was bromine, and it scared the crap out of me. I thought if you broke a bromine thermometer, that the bromine could evaporate, and I knew it was bad for you. It was similar to chlorine. So I didn't want to break those either. I was already scared of mercury thermometers. Now I didn't want to break a bromine thermometer either. Turns out it was made of alcohol, so I guess if you needed an antidote, an antidote for ethylene glycol, if you were to get poisoned, would be to drink alcohol. So I guess in an emergency, you could break one of those thermometers. If you're working with ethylene glycol in your chemistry lab, you could break one of those thermometers if it were an emergency. I had some misconceptions about physics as well. We learned that the Earth had a magnetic field that was shrinking over time. And I thought if I took a very long coil of wire, that I think I was 16 years old at the time. I had a lot of time on my hands, and I took this wire and I rolled it around a screwdriver. And I thought if we had enough of that wire, we could just let it sit somewhere, and because the Earth's magnetic field was weakening, it could generate electricity. And I remember just thinking of having our house powered on this giant coil of wire. And so I think I rolled around 10 miles of wire, and I measured it, and it was a few picoamps. I probably wasn't picking up anything from the Earth. It was probably from background signals that were just flying overhead or something like that. What else did I used to have this misconception that gold nuggets formed because the lightning would strike seawater that contained gold ions. So it was the other part of the electrolysis, and it would form nuggets of metals, and gold being one of the more stable metals would be the first one to form out of that. So I remember we would have lightning, and I'd get really excited because somewhere, lightning might strike something that has a lot of gold ions, and it'll make a gold nugget out of it. Thanks for watching.